All right, it is time for the March TBR. March should be a good month. We are spending a week away, so that'll be a nice vacation. That also makes me wonder how much time I'll have to read or not, because sometimes I have reading time on vacation and sometimes I don't. It depends. And if I have the energy, maybe I'll vlog it. Maybe I won't. Have no clue as of now, but per usual, I just have my obligation reads. I do have like 1.5 books that are here, but you guys don't hear about because they are like a secret project, but not nearly as involved as the last one, I promise. I keep signing myself up for stuff, and I need to make sure I make room for mood reads, and we're still at least always having one slot a month, so we're doing okay. I feel like I'm still meeting my intentions, but trying to keep this reasonable. And what has me excited about this month is it is kind of a month of rereads. Like, most of the stuff that would be like stretch goals for me this month are rereads, which are really fun. Because I think right now, tentatively, there are 4 rereads in this month's TBR, which is wild to me, but I'm also equally excited about all of it. One holdover from last month and the month before that is Open Veins of Latin America. We just really didn't get to read a lot of this in February because both Jocelyn and I got sick with different diseases, and then my mental health went crazy, and then we were buddy reading a different book. So definitely getting back into this. If you don't know, this is a nonfiction by an Uruguayan author from the 1970s, and going over, I don't know, just the last hundreds of years of history in South America and its relationship to imperialism, how that like has shaped the landscape politically, agriculturally, what it's done to the people who first lived there. All of that context. It's very depressing, very anger-inducing, but has a lovely kind of lyrical writing style to it for a nonfiction that I am enjoying. So that is a holdover for my local book club. We are reading The Sentence by Louise Erdrich. I'm very excited. I love Louise Erdrich, easily my favorite literary contemporary author. And this one is, I think, her newest release. The last one I read was The Night Watchman, which won the Pulitzer, which I also really liked. That one was set in the 1950s, and this one's set in like 2019, 2020-ish, in a bookstore, maybe with a ghost. I don't know for sure. I just really like her sentences, so I just want to read everything I can eventually by her. And yeah, this is the most contemporary of her works that I will have picked up. The other one would have been La Rose, and that one took place very solidly around 2001. Like, I'm not here to try and be like, that's historical. That would freak a lot of people out. But that book, it was really important, the idea that it was set around that time, and it was not written around 2001. That book came out, I want to say, 2015. Or something like that. So I don't know, the sense of time was really important, and I do think it can get interesting when you're reading books around like big turning points in our history. Like 2001, you don't have the technology we have now. It's like, in this book, it's like pre and after 9/11, like that's not the focus, but you see the effects of that big moment. Anyways, as a tangent, I'm really excited for The Sentence for the local book club. I have not had less than a 4-star experience with that author so far. For Patreon, our buddy read this month is Far from the Light of Heaven by Tade Thompson, and I'm excited. This will be... I don't think I've read a short story by him, so I think this will be my first work. If I have read a short story by him, it was probably forgettable in some way, like probably a 3.5-star story. Those are the stories I don't remember. And yeah, I think this is a murder mystery in space somewhere, and I've seen a wide range of experiences with this book, and I just hope I have a good time, and if I do, then I'll know to maybe look into his Rosewater trilogy. So that's what I have on my radar. This was one of those 2021 books that I never got around to, so I'm excited that this buddy read is putting it on my radar. And then every month my patron gets to vote for a book for me to read, and this month I had them vote on like all the arcs I wanted to read for this month, because I don't know if you know this, but March is like the month of new releases, at least for me and my taste and authors I like and I'm curious about. So I had like a Malika Older, I had a Lee Mandello, I had a Marco Shiru, and I had a T. Kingfisher. The T. Kingfisher one. So this one, it's haunted housey, T. Kingfisher. I think it's a House of Good Bones. I haven't looked up anything about it. A, because it's like, I think horror adjacent, if not a horror novel. B, because it's T. Kingfisher and I pretty much just like anything she does. So, you know, like, I don't really have expectations for it, even if it ends up not being a horror novel or whatever. I'll just be like, that's fine. Let's just have a good time. Tell me a story, T. Kingfisher. Just tell me a story. What story do you want to tell me? So I'm incredibly excited. Those other books on the poll are, like, still on my radar. I still have access to ARCs, but this is the one I will be prioritizing because of this. And then there are 2 read-alongs I am reading for this month. One is for the Cosmere Long Run by Rogers at Rogers Reads, and we're having the live show on this channel this month for Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. One of my favorite Cosmere books. for largely nostalgia reasons, but I also actually really like a lot of this unapologetically. I've read it like 4 times. Like, it's not like I read it once and it's just like that one moment. This is a copy actually that Lezlie, the Nerdy Narrative, gave me, because until she gave me this copy, I have never owned like a standard edition of Elantris. I like stole my stepdad's version, and then that got like passed around the family so much that it got lost. And then I have a leather bound, but I have only read the leather bound once, and there's just something nice about reading a book edition that it doesn't matter if you heard it. And this is the 10th anniversary too. Alright, so for those who don't know, since Elantris is a lesser known Sanderson, this takes place at the city of Elantris, which used to be full of prosperity. People would wake up with the power of an Elantrian, and they would go to the city to study what they wanted, help the people. It was a utopia-ish city. And then overnight, it becomes a curse. These people are left essentially undying in the city, and now when people wake up with the gift, it's a curse, and they are just thrown into Elantris to be forgotten. So that's where the world is at. That's like the prologue. And we have 3 characters who are around the city. One that gives a perspective within it, because he becomes an Elantrian. One is kind of our political character. She's a princess from another land who is now fish out of water in this new political system, trying to figure out what's happening. And then we have a priest from another land who's told, if you do not convert these people, they will all die. And so it's his like life mission to convert everyone to his religion. Those are our 3 perspectives. And there's the mystery of Elantris and what happened to it. It is not as action-packed as the standard Sanderson book. And it definitely still has that Sanderlanche at the end. But I love it. I love it so much. I just have such a fun, cozy time with this book. So I'm incredibly excited for that. The other read-along is the Red Rising read-along I'm doing with Alex and Leanna. By the time you're seeing this, we've already had our live show for Red Rising. And next up is Golden Sun. And I'm excited. This might be the book I read while I'm on vacation, because I love reading these Red Rising books when I'm on vacation. Which maybe is a little weird because they're a little graphic at times, but they're just such page turners. So yeah, Golden Sun, I think I remember the least. Like, Red Rising, I was like, I generally remember what happens here. Like, not everything, but like I generally remember the type of story it was. This one, I'm like, I know about what Darrow's doing, and I remember when I finished the Golden Sun book, I really wanted Morning Star. Like, I remember those feelings. So, we'll see. I will say, like, I read this before BookTube. I never really thought about which book was my favorite in the original trilogy. And I know Golden Sun is a lot of people's favorite, so I'm curious now, thinking in that way, if that'll be mine as well. No clue. So those are for the 2 read-alongs. And then I am in Stephanie's Patreon. This is from Steph Bookish. Down below, she always does those great vlogs. And they're reading The Vanished Birds this month. And so I kind of want to read it again. So that might happen. It's not a very long book. I really love this book. So I might be picking this up because a bunch of people are reading The Vanished Birds, and I really love this book. That's how that got on the TBR. All right, anything else? All right, the rest of it is just like maybes and then hopefully leaving room for mood reads. So I have, like, nebulously, I think there's like 700 pages of secret project somewhere. And hopefully it doesn't actually take up too much of my time. So that'll be okay. I have a short story collection I'd like to read called Strange Pilgrims. I figure since I'm going to Columbia, it'd be cool to read my book from Columbia that I have on my TBR challenge for the year. It kind of made sense in my head. And it's short stories. So if I wanted to read that and Golden Sun while I'm on my trip, like, that would make sense in my head. Especially with short stories, you can just like read one a day sort of thing. I also, this is my other reread. I don't have to reread this, but in April, it looks like I'm going to get to read Wall of Storms. And so I was talking about like how I wanted to reread Grace of Kings. So this might be the time. Like March, if I have time, this TBR doesn't feel overwhelming yet, I could reread Grace of Kings, which would make me incredibly excited. So I don't know if I will. That's probably for sure the lowest in terms of like required reading, especially since that would have to be physically read. I cannot stand the audiobook for Grace of Kings, like, at all. Like, my dislike of Michael Kramer's audiobook style aside, like, I can listen to Michael Kramer audiobooks. I can do it. But that one in particular is grating on me, so I can't do it. And I have a lot of eye reading. Like, all of the ones I want to reread with my eyes because, well, Elantris is Elantris, The Vanished Bird. Like, all of them are, like, words I like in my brain that feel good. And I don't know what I'll end up mood reading. I got very, very, very excited about the Karen Lord announcements, which is like that we finally are getting the new book this summer, and it's actually in the world of the Best of All Possible Worlds in the Galaxy game. So I really want to reread those, but we're getting new editions of those, so I kind of want to wait for those to come out. But that doesn't mean I can't read Unraveling, which I also have, which is also going to be reprinting the following year, but I don't think it'll have like new content. I don't know, so I have those around me. I have other sci-fi books around that I might be getting to, like the sequel to Chilling Effect. I'm just gonna see what the mood wants me to do, but it feels like a fun TBR. I'm excited. I think it's a little more balanced in terms of like sci-fi and fantasy, and I think all the rereads are going to help if my momentum is still a little stagnant. So we'll see. What are your plans for March? What are you hoping to get to, watch, play in terms of video game space? I need to get back into Horizon Zero Dawn. I took like a week or two off. And it's just like, I really like the DLC. I'm having so much fun. But I'm really bad at remembering to turn the video game console on. I'm just like, it's not my instinct when I like sit down and relax. When I sit down and relax, I'm like, I guess put on an audiobook and crochet this thing or pick up this book to read. Like, it's weird. And I really like when I play video games. So I need to make sure I put that in. And I don't know if March will be this time. Like, this is just a challenge. This isn't like a reading thing. But I was thinking, like, sometimes it's nice to do like a 30-day challenge because it gets you into kind of a state of practice. And then maybe it can extend beyond that. That's why I always start my year off with like the 30-day yoga, because then maybe I'll at least do yoga 2 times a week after that sort of thing. And I've been doing a lot of stuff to practice my Spanish. So I might try every day that I have to watch an episode of this soap opera I've been watching or reading a chapter of The Golden Compass. I don't know. That might be too ambitious. But I feel like I need to carve out time for that because it's something I'm really like enjoying working on. Anyways, that's another tangent, but that's like nebulously, like in terms of like reading's a large part of how I plan my free time. These are other things I'm planning in my free time. If you want to leave an emoji, leave a zombie, because Elantris is like the pseudo zombie book of the Cosmere, which like I honestly didn't notice for like 10 years, but it's true. It's very true. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.